A deep fake is something where, you know, AI can fake your voice, your face, your everything. So you can see lots of video about for Obama, for example, and it's not him, but you think it's the same voice, the same everything. But at the same time, while deep fake is there in AI, there is some other, you know, ways to combat this deep fake, to fight it, and so on. But I would say, as I said, the voice. I'm sorry, I'm in a conference. There is some noise around. So the voice is very important, and then even the odor, as I said, there is the smelling. All of these, there is other things, biometrics, which it can be used as well.
Dr. Ahmed, you see the deep fake, he mentioned it, and it's really scaring the people that are going to go with the biometric. Is there a way that defensive mode, the biometric is going forward? For my opinion, humble opinion, I think the geographic information systems can add value as a second authentication, which is going to be seamlessly. So the journey of the customer, he doesn't need to enter his location. So once he just been identified by his face or by his fingerprint, it immediately will take a time zone, timestamp, and the geographic information system. What else other option? I mean, people right now is thinking that anyone can go to the grocery and make a seamless checkout with his face, and he can bring any face or copy the face and go on. Is there any way that we can secure this domain in the future, or still it's an open discussion that's opportunity for people that are going forward to?
I believe what Kathir has just mentioned about using multiple devices, so you can reduce the probability of thefting your facial ID or other biometric identities. I believe also the physical existence with your body and using something like what I mentioned about infrared readers can also increase the security and reduce the probability of the identity theft.
So I can see that the customer journey, when he will try to do a purchase online, or he will have only the steps, the click for selecting the item. For the payment, he's going to just turn on your face, here's your money, it's there. Is that what we're expecting in the future?
Yeah, this is also can be used for the DNA kind of things which I've mentioned. The way that you are doing the purchase on the screen, your movements and the style, even how you click the buttons, how you move the mouse. Even there is a new technology is also considering the hardware itself. So if, for example, if you're using your mobile phone and I bring another mobile phone from the same, let's say, model, there is still a difference between the two in the speed of the processor, in the memory response, and even the internal, let's say, hardware of that device. So the DNA now is combining almost 15 to 20 factors, not only your biometric things, but also your way of doing things. So how you are typing on the keyboard, the rate of typing, the rate of moving the mouse, the directions, where you go at the beginning and where you move forward. So that now this kind of things are really increasing the security, and you can even, in some cases, reduce the kind of other verification that you might need. For example, OTP. For example, if you are relying on a DNA solution, you might not need to send a message to the customer to ensure that he is the one doing the transaction, because of the other factors are already giving you high accuracy about the person who is doing the transaction. It is really, now it's becoming really secured.
I think what Mohammed said is very interesting, and I think we just need to be mindful that there are different domains, right? So if we talk within a merchant space, the merchant can control how much risk he or they want to take. So building up a credential, and if you look within many merchants, they want to lower the barriers to facilitate both e-com and in-store shopping. So they will take the risk, but we do have to be mindful that the other parts of the value chains running the payments are going to look for a standardized fashion to do this. So there's still going to be very hard metrics and multifactor authentication that's going to go through global standards and formats for it to work. So we just have to be mindful that there are two different universes. So one is the merchant who can decide himself, but the other is if you want to lose or be free of liability, you do have to convey with the standards.
It is as well. I'll take this opportunity
I think I need to add, as Chris said, multi-factor is the answer. So even with biometric, can I use my face and my hand? Then, then you have two, because, maybe someone is trying to take your face or voice, but maybe your thumb. So it's going to be a combination. It wouldn't be only one. And this is based on the risk and the amount and the level of transaction you are trying to do. If you're going to do millions, you might need to do it in a different way. But if it's a small amount, maybe one or two or three. So I think it will be a combination of all.
Is it possible that we can use a biometric post-authentication, for example, releasing a check for a person? I will release any check, but when he's trying to withdraw it, the biometric will be there to verify. Is there we always see it only in the beginning of site. Is there any examples after that we can have? For example, the custom is not a financial, but it is an open that after you arrive to the airport, we can verify you. I don't need you to, when you get the ticket, when you buy it, I need to verify. I will verify you after. So is there any big potential in the domains for this kind of opportunity post verification? Checks, for example, do a transaction, monthly settlement. We have a lot of people doing a monthly settlement every month. So he would love to schedule this kind of settlement. Would he like to do a verification every time, this kind of schedule for the next 6 months, 6 transactions, every transaction I need to verification? Or the biometric have another maturity way to have a good way to verify seamlessly? Katharina, do we have any good?
So I am thinking that today, the only notion I have, having worked in MasterCard a long time, post-verification, is the collaboration that is done by Interpol, and they have. But that's done with that system, and that's passport-driven, right? So, and transaction-wise, it is true that you could use, to your point, cloud functionality and have an identification stored that goes in and do almost like a transaction verification. But I would say that the different parties in the value chain do want to have some sort of authentication at the moment. So ensure that you are you. And as we are speaking to the banks and processes, they're all saying the more, if you can make that verification seamlessly, this is critical. But the consumer actually takes value in saying, yeah, so your transaction is going. And even if it's only a tick mark, or it's your fingerprint, or you use whatever, there is this trust moment. So I think we shouldn't underestimate the customer experience, that customers like that there is a verification when money is going out of their account. So
I took this example because we have everyone in the house, kids, everyone knows your phone. But I have a bad example. They know my passcode. They know my username and password for the bank. They will receive the OTP. They will have the transaction. But if I have an option in the bank and said, listen up bank, these kind of transactions, when it's happened, please proceed, but give a biometric verification. At that moment, he cannot do anything. So I think that username and passwords could be able to be manipulated as much as the biometric as well. And I was looking at that, till this moment, there is no financial industry do the post. I'm looking forward to be, but when you think about it, in my situation, you will think about it, you need a parenting control. I don't need a parenting control. I'm choosing this as an example, but if you're going to go to the big authority, big organization, you will notice it is already there. So if someone's going to be traveling and he have any point that he should not travel, we should allow for example, air traffics to verify this person, biometric, to verify that he is eligible to go to this country or not, rather than he do his payment, go to the airport, go back. There's a lot of examples and opportunities that are going to happen. I believe the AI and the machine learning will include a lot of opportunities as well. I'll take this small opportunity, 2 minutes for the audience. If they have any, would love to integrate or engage with a small question as well. Or I'm going to go back to Dr. Ahmed until we have a good question. You can see that in the biometric, it's taking really good job of our lives. Make it easy, seamlessly. We're human, we forget all stuff all the time. But we cannot forget our eyes or fingerprints. It's always there for us. This is a big leverage about the biometrics if you're going to versus about the other solutions. But the disadvantage that we still having is the reader. Is the reader become easier? affordable to everyone. I can see it right nowadays, the biometrics and the lock doors of the house. You can buy it easily and you can verify it. Where we're going, how easy it's going to be, how various is going to be engaged in our life as much as we can.
I believe it is booming and it's increasing everywhere. Today, most of the ATMs in the country is equipped with a fingerprint scanner, so people can verify themselves even for account opening and onboarding. Some of the banks now are using fingerprint to authenticate the customer. So after the customer finish his online or digital journey, and without having an Abshare account, for example, if the customer segment is not those who are owning Abshare account, he can visit the nearest ATM and put his fingerprint and activate his account. Some of other use cases, for example, today, SAQR or Saudi Arabia QR code standard, which is still under development by several banks. The security of opening the camera and scanning the QR code might not be enough. Majority of the information security are asking for another level of authentication or authorization by your Face ID or fingerprint from the mobile device itself. So mobile devices today equipped, majority of them with the Face ID, and some of them are with the fingerprint. I believe Apple is going to return the fingerprint somehow very soon. So by having these kind of things on all our our cell phones, sorry, in devices like ATMs, the only factor which I can see is still a barrier is the cost. Because, for example, if you want to enroll fingerprint across the kingdom for point of sale, for example, the cost of verification of the fingerprint with the Ministry of Interior is high compared to the other way of authentication. With the cost factor being reduced by time, either by reducing the cost of the verification by Ministry of Interior, NIC, or by reducing the cost of the fingerprint, and the new point of sale come with the soft fingerprint without having a special device, I think this can increase the usage of biometric things. The iris is coming very soon, and we know that Ministry of Interior is going to start capturing our iris data, same as what we have done 10 years back, maybe or more, with the fingerprint in Saudi Arabia. So by having multiple biometric factors and devices becoming much cheaper, transaction cost is becoming much cheaper, I think this will propagate, and we will have more biometric way of doing authentication in the kingdom.
I believe so too. Thinking about the differentiation between the biometric, I think that the biometric between health, financial, customs, they all have their own way to verify and modification of the people of the authentication. The point we're trying to make is that all of those are going to be unified in a one unit, and I believe that the AI is going to be introduced as well. And I think that the biometric is not just going to be as a verification; it will be checking the health of the person, and it will make emergency call to the emergency contact if something is happening, introducing the geographic information system as well to verify. A lot of things is going to happening during the biometrics once to be identified. The AI, the cloud, unified data is going to be really, really amazing future is going to happening. I would really to extend my appreciation for listening. Thank you for your time. Wishing you a really good day, inshallah. Thank you.